Here we go. When you mix rap and country, do you get crap? Is the Haktua girl going to be back in the news? Can a bathroom double as a storm shelter? All that and more on today's number 2 show. Hey, we're here, we're live, we're having a good time. It's the number Tuesday on another number 2 show. I'm happy to be here. Hello, all you caca birds, all you doo-doo monkeys, patent pending on what we're going to call the fans of this show. Stall monitors, looky-loos, glory holders. I don't know. We'll find out. I may never settle on one. We're going to get it. Well, I mean, we got a great show for you today, buddy. I am telling you, whatever since we opened up the number 2 hotline, things are looking up. But first, as always, we're going to start the show with our first segment, a cherished segment. He's back from vacation. It's time for 15 Minutes with Riz. Peekaboo, there he is. Welcome.
Start my timer.
Start your timer, bud. Let me know, or don't let me know. Just leave when it's 15 minutes is up.
You know I do.
Go on about your day. Freshly back from vacation, man.
Yes.
You're tanned. You're peeling on your shoulders. How do you feel?
I feel rejuvenated. I'll be honest with you. I felt good. I had a nice break. Spent some time with the wife and kids. Actually got to be a dad.
Yeah.
Kind of. They had my undivided attention. It was good.
Okay. In what ways did you get to be a dad?
I wasn't constantly having to arrange everything around my sleep schedule.
Ah, yes.
You know what I mean? That's basically how I go through my life now, is everything revolves around me being in bed by 9 o'clock and getting up at 2:30. Honestly, that's it. Everybody at home has to adjust to me.
Yes.
And on vacation, we are one cohesive unit. Now, listen, Dad's drunk most of the time because we're on all-inclusive.
Yeah.
And I get to be fun dad, Rafe. I get to be fun dad.
A couple tequila sodas in, you turn into a different guy, huh?
You know what fun dad does?
What's fun dad?
Fun dad goes down water slides.
Really?
Fun dad goes in the lazy river with the kids.
You went down a water slide.
To hell, not just one water slide, many water slides.
Wow, you really are a different person on vacation.
Oh, yeah. And when the kids ask, hey, Dad, can you do it? Sure. What do you want to do? You want to throw the football around? Let's do it. Let's go.
And you're tossing balls. You're going down water slides.
Yeah. Yeah, that's vacation dad.
That's a gateway to a trampoline park, my friend.
If I was on vacation, they said, let's go to a trampoline park. Sure.
But when you get home, that's all over.
No. Yeah, it's all over. Now it's everything's got to revolve around dad time.
Yeah,
we're back to it. Many people like that.
Well, and where did you go? Where was you went to Mexico?
Went to Cancun.
Cancun, all right.
Cancun, stayed at a pretty nice place, the Hyatt Ziva.
Okay. All inclusive.
Nice. All inclusive. Yeah, that's how we do it.
So you got to pound the drinks to get your money.
Yeah.
Because you got 2 teens, so they're not drinking.
No.
So you and the wife got to really get after it.
Yeah, the disappointing thing was we go on these vacations to go to the beach.
Right.
Right, because I go to a pool anywhere.
That's what I want to know. Yes.
I go to a pool here in St. Louis.
Okay.
We don't get the beach here.
Right.
So my wife and I like to just, roast our bones on the beach.
We like to roast our brittle bones out on the beach. We
That's
like to
right.
bleach our skeletons out on the beach.
And at these all-inclusive places, we usually rent like a cabana.
Yeah.
And, we'll park ourselves out there, go to breakfast in the morning, park ourselves out by the beach. Usually, a waiter or waitress comes by every so often to refill our beverages. We'll bring the big tumblers with us.
Yeah. You get out there. You really do it. You get a day bed or whatever? Is that the cabana?
Oh, yeah. And, we're out there usually till sunset. And the kids, we went with another family who has, they have 3 kids.
Okay.
So, which is great. All kids around, my kids' ages. So, they got, people to hang out with. They don't have to bother us.
That's great. What was the beach? Is Mexico overrated? Let's talk about it.
Is it overrated?
I know that it's great. I know the weather's great. You're in the Yucatan Peninsula. You're on the right side of Mexico. You're on the Gulf side.
I mean, it's hot.
Everything over there in Cabo can suck it, especially Sammy Hagar. But
It's hot.
You said the beach had been recently washed away.
Yeah, I guess that Hurricane Beryl went through there in early June and really messed up the beach on this resort.
Yeah.
Like knocked down some buildings, some structures were not sound to be walked on. Some of the beach eroded away, so it wasn't what we expected. A little disappointed about the beach, but all in all, a good vacation. Now you say, is Mexico overrated? I don't know. If we go to Mexico, if we go to Dominican, if we go to Jamaica, is it the same kind of thing? Sure.
I'm just saying, if it wasn't located where it was in terms of weather,
Yeah.
would anybody ever go?
No, want to go to a warm tropical climate where there's a beach. No, we went to Costa Rica last year.
Yeah, that's sweet.
That was probably my favorite vacation of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went there. We loved it.
Loved it.
It's a real high-octane vacation.
Loved it.
Costa Rica is very, they're not standoffish in any way. Like, they love the tourism. They know that it's their bread and butter. Everybody, they're on, I believe they call it Tico time, where it's like, hey, somebody's coming, but if they say 8 o'clock, they might get there at 8:20, and that's cool.
And we rented a car when we got there to Costa Rica last year and did not feel unsafe, driving in a foreign country.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you feel, you hear stories. The first place we stayed at was at the base of a volcano in the middle of the country. So we flew into one of the coasts. We drove for 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
To the middle of the country, stayed at the base of a volcano. It wasn't an all-inclusive place at all. And we hiked and we did all sorts of adventurous things. We ended by driving to
Guanacaste area?
We drove to like the northwest corner
that's it. That's what it's called.
Of Costa Rica. It was by the Nicaraguan border.
Yeah.
And there we stayed for like 3 days at one of these all-inclusives, which was a great way to end it.
And that's the beach part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we stayed. We had a great time. There's all kinds of the biodiversity. It's like 5 different vacations. You can go walk through these suspension bridges up in the clouds of the mountains. You can go walk on a volcano. Costa Rica, the zip lines, they're real loose with the guidelines of what's safe and not safe. They just get you out there having a good time.
Well, with Mexico, my kids are 15 and 13.
Right.
They hear things, especially from people like my mother. She's like, well, don't leave the resort. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And yes, there are parts of Mexico that are very dangerous, just like parts of St. Louis are very dangerous.
Sure.
My thinking always is, listen, we're in a very touristy area, Cancun. Yeah, things happen.
Of course.
But the Mexican government, the last thing they want is for bad press when it comes to the tourist part of Mexico. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
People coming down there. So we did go off resort for 2 of the days. The first day we took an Uber to a ferry that took us over to Isle Mujeres.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. We rented a golf cart and drove around the island.
4-person cart?
A 4-person cart. And you drive these golf carts in the middle, as if it's a car. It's a mixture of cars and golf carts.
Sweet.
And we drove from the north end of the island to the south end of the island, stopped for lunch at a local place.
Nice.
Didn't feel unsafe at all. But my kids, I could tell in the back of their head, especially my son, he's like, is everything going to be all right? I'm like,
excuse me.
Listen, I would never take you guys to a dangerous place.
Yeah, they're thinking about it. But they're not well-traveled. They're kids.
My kids are pretty well-traveled.
Okay.
We've been to Israel. That was...
Oh, yeah, I guess they are. A lot more than I did at that age. I don't think I ever went out of the country until I was an adult.
I didn't either.
We didn't have the cash infusion, baby.
I only remember as a kid maybe going on 2 vacations.
Where were they? Do you remember?
We went to
Coney Island.
We went to Florida.
Okay.
We went to Disney when I was 9 or 10.
Okay.
And we went to San Francisco once.
Ooh, across the country.
That's all I remember.
Now, before you went to Mexico, we had chatted about beach attire, G-strings specifically. Did we see what was the hot bod situation out there on the beach while you're hanging out with your wife? You got kids around, but I feel like the closer you get to the equator, the more everybody's kind of chill about.
Well, the new style is, especially women's bottoms, is it for to go the cloth to go up your ass crack.
Yeah. Like a ShamWow for divorce papers being filed.
Yeah, not like a G. It's not a G string.
Yeah, it's more like a jihad on your marriage. You might right?
Yeah,
Come on.
you're right.
Come on,
Come on, through the glory hole. Come on.
Come on, we're doing
All
it.
right.
Yeah, we're cracking jokes. Cracking jokes. Come on, double down. Anyway,
that seems to be the new style, and not everybody can pull it off. I'll be honest with you.
when you see a nice set of toasty little Mexican buns in that, though, whether it be a man or a woman, because there's plenty of dudes down there. Machismo runs heavy in these countries. And it's interesting. They tell you that even when you go to Costa Rica, like, hey, it's a different culture. Like, don't be surprised if your wife gets catcalled. You know, when I went to Costa Rica, they're like, hey, it's a compliment if a guy in the streets. Like,
I would 100% take it as that.
What's up, mami?
If somebody catcalls my wife,
Yeah.
all right, she's coming home with me.
Yeah. Did you encounter any of that?
Catcalls on my wife?
Just in general. You too?
No,
you're a sexy man.
It was family. It was, you know.
That's what I was curious about. It was a family
families.
resort. What's the policy you and the wife have of, like, do we acknowledge when a hot person's around? Do we pretend like we don't see him? Everybody's different. Tina and I are of the ilk of, like, hey, that guy's hot. Cool. We've both clocked a hot guy with abs. You don't have to pretend not to be looking over there. Hey, that girl's ass is hanging out. Let's both have a peek and get back to our couples' activities. Do we have an open door policy there, or do you look straight ahead?
No. She understands.
That's good. I think that's healthy.
You know, listen, we've been married for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Why hide things?
I agree, man.
Hiding anything.
I think it's the healthiest thing you can do.
What am I going to hide?
Yeah, you can't just put on.
Am I going to avert my eyes? Come on,
around
we're all
Oakleys.
adults here.
Exactly. In Mexico, you're going to see some hot, especially Cancun. You're going to see some hotties. That's just
right.
What it is. Well, also on the while you were gone, the Olympics wrapped up.
Which I tried to watch as much as I could while I was there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, I was thinking about this. If you could medal, if you could be an Olympic sport athlete, other than, we're going to take basketball out of it because obviously the NBA would be everyone's choice because of the money.
Yeah.
Let's take the money out of it and the fame of the NBA. As far as all the other Olympic summer game sports.
Summer games specifically.
Yeah, I don't want to delve into the winter games because I think snowboarding would be tight. What would be your Scott Rizzuto is going to be known as an Olympic medalist. What sport?
Well, let's just eliminate some stuff besides basketball that I can never.
All right.
I'll never be a shot putter.
Yeah.
Because those men are pretty beefy. I'm not playing rugby.
Right.
I don't like to run, so I'm not playing soccer or doing any track and field events.
Soccer, no.
I can't jump high. I can't run fast.
Well, this is an ideal situation. This doesn't have to be, if we're going by what you can do, you're not going to be an Olympic athlete at all. Let's just say you could throw the shot. You could just wake up tomorrow and have a big, beefy Magnus for Magnuson, like you were built like the mountain from Game of Thrones. Would you want that?
Yeah, sure.
Would you rather have a long jumper's body? You want the pole vaulter guy with the big schwanz?
Like, think about what can you monetize after the Olympics are over?
Okay, so that's going to be your focus. It's not going to be the glory of the medal. The focus for you is what?
There's something about if I could choose like my superpower.
Yeah,
it would probably be to run fast. I'd want to be an Olympic sprinter.
Yeah, that would be cool. You know what's wild, man, as I was looking up, and I'll ask you this. I'm glad you said sprinter. 1923 Olympics, leather shoes, nothing really. 1923 Olympics, they're running about there on loafers practically out there running. And now we have all these training modules and coaches. No one had a coach back then. They just showed up and they took off. They have all of these diets and routines and supplements and quality, ergonomic.
You know what it's like? It's like Drago training for the fight against Rocky.
Yeah, they got all that stuff. What do you think the time difference was between the Olympic gold medalist in 1923?
Running the 100?
Running the 100 meter.
Now they run at what? In a little over 10 seconds?
I think the winner this year was like 9.8.
All right, so Noah Lyles won for the U.S.
I think he ran around a 9.8.
All right, around a 9.8.
What do you think the difference between, in 100 years, between the 1923 Olympics to the 2024 with all of the advances?
The 100-meter.
The 100-meter. And the fact, that like some people were excluded from even participating in 1923. 100-meter dash, the sprint.
What were they running? Mid-12s.
You think they were running mid-12s?
Yeah.
So you think there's like a 3-second difference?
Yeah.
The actual retail price difference in 100 years was 1/8 of a second.
Oh, really?
The gold medalist ran a 10.8. And, a 10. He ran a 9.8. They ran a 10.6. That was
okay. So almost not even a second.
No,
That's
1/8 of a second. And
in loafers?
Isn't that wild though? And think about all, because that makes me pivot into like all the stuff we buy as consumers, right? Like you and I, we go to the gym, we try. We're in our 40s. We're trying to whip ourselves into shape, have one last good year in the sun before we get taken out behind the barn and told to look at the flowers. Mm-hmm. Put out of our misery like old Yeller, which I'm assuming your family will do for you. I hope mine does it for me.
I hope humanely, yes.
Yeah, your son will take you out behind the barn one day and be like, "Hey, Dad, let's go have a talk." Mm. And then I assume you kneel down to look at a rose bush, and your son just, put you out of your misery. That's what sons are for.
Yeah.
I started thinking about all of the stuff we do, supplements and all the fad diets, and I'm like, if the sprinters only shaved off 1/8 of a second, are we really doing anything? Are any of these supplements and vitamins really doing anything? What do you think? You think we're suckers for that?
Okay, well, what was the life expectancy back in 1924 as opposed to 2024?
Well, I mean, polio was around, There was a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
A couple of world wars. Going to cut into that.
And there are more people now living into their 80s than there were in the 1920s.
You're right. You're right.
Yes, diet, exercise. Yes, that probably is doing something.
That's interesting. Well, you may be right. Maybe it doesn't correlate as much as I'd hoped. I was just trying to figure out if I could stop caring about that stuff.
No.
I think I was like trying to be like, you know what? My grandpa lived well into his 70s, 80s. I think he had a bacon sandwich for breakfast every
And probably
morning.
smoked cigarettes.
He did. He smoked non-filter cigarettes. He was a bricklayer. He had a hard back-breaking job.
And what would he think about people taking supplements? Supplements.
I would just assume, I would assume that he would tell me that I was
soft.
A sissy, yeah. My grandpa would get into a lot. Grandpas late in life get into some weird stuff, though, too. My grandpa got into a lot of at-home remedy type stuff. Like he was taking cayenne pepper pills because he said they were good for his metabolism, and he got into some weird stuff at the end of his life.
Those were his supplements.
Yeah. He had a thing, one that was supposed to help his joints, and it was like a thing that shot a spark into his wrist. And upon closer inspection, I'm like, Grandpa, I think this is a gas grill lighter. The little thing that makes a spark to light a gas grill? My grandpa was just shocking his elbows and wrists with that thing because I think he saw it on an infomercial.
Yeah.
Something in between the John Wayne movies he was watching.
Well, listen, old people are easily influenced and suckered into doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Well, Rafe, I'll see you.
Oh, all right. Well.
Hey, I gave you an extra 3 minutes.
You did?
My gift to you.
Wow. Did your alarm not go off, or?
Oh, no, I'm always timing.
All right. Well, that's it for Scott Rizzuto, guys. That was 15 minutes. That was 18 minutes with Riz. What a treat. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with our first section, the Annals of History. Have you been feeling down? Have you had thoughts of depression? Maybe you should try cocaine. That's right. Nothing gets you happy like cocaine. Okay, and we're back. That ad was not subsidized by Hubbard Radio. I don't even know. I think someone on a ham radio just commandeered our signal. I apologize for that. Do not do cocaine to fight depression unless you're severely depressed, in which case do a little cocaine. All right. I'm kidding. Of course, I've been living sober for 13 years. Don't actually do cocaine. This is a comedy podcast. Do cocaine if you want to. Sorry, my plant's falling down. Now, I want to get into our next segment, guys. Thank you for being in. I'm going to go through the little chat here on my phone, and we'll be doing a segment later where you can call in at 818-532-1420. That's 818-532-1420. I'll be taking some calls later, but I've also got a whole bunch. It's a hotline now. It's the number 2 Papa Squad hotline, and let me tell you, you guys have not let me down. We have some great messages to go through today. I've only heard some. Some of them are going to be a surprise to me. I had my producer, Zane, go through them and select, but you guys have been crushing it, calling in, asking great questions, and we got a great segment lined up for you later. But first, let's get to this segment. It is called The Annals of History.
From the Annals of History.
We got to redo that voiceover. I'm pretty sure he mispronounces that. But you know what? The Annals of History it is. And today I want to talk about something I've been noticing. I'm a big country music fan. I grew up on country music. I like old country. To me, old country is Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, The Highwaymen, Dolly Parton, the Judds, if you will. Reba motherfucking McEntire. We all know how I roll with that little red-headed temptress. If you don't get hard when you look at Reba McEntire, I don't even know if you're from the United States of America. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I don't even care if you have a penis. Reba McEntire transcends gender when it comes to getting people hard. And I'm willing to go on record and say that. And she would hate that. She's a very nice lady. She would hate that I said all those filthy things. But something I've noticed as of late is outlaw country is something that's important to me that I like. And, is there an absence of that now in country music is my question, because I've seen lately, I've been seeing a lot of rap stars or hip hop stars or a lot of crossover, whether it's Beyonce, whether it's Post Malone or Jelly Roll. We've got all kinds of hip hop and pop stars kind of invading the country music space, which I like. Beyonce's record was awesome. Post Malone's killing it. I love Jelly Roll. He's the most lovable guy on the planet. And I'm wondering, is it an absence of true outlaws that has left a vacuum for people that are a little more edgy and on the wild side to have to come over from other genres and get into country music? I don't know if you guys listen to country music or not. I don't know who's in or who's out, but I wonder about it. And I love me some Post Malone, all right? And just recently there was an article. Post Malone says his fame saved him from loneliness, so he wants to return the favor. I love this guy, man. Love him to death. Says he needed to go through a lot to figure out who he is, including a lot of loneliness and drinking. Like, people were worried about Post Malone for a while. Man, he was living that country music life. He was kind of out there on his own, getting a little squirrely, getting a little drunk, if you will. He says, quote, "I don't want people to feel how I felt, and now that they do, I know that they do, and I'm here, and I'm on stage, and I just want everyone to feel welcome and feel loved, and that's the most important thing to me." I'm going to play a little bit of a video. I believe he was on CBS Sunday Morning, where he talked about how his daughter and being a father changed his life, and I thought this was really touching, and just a cool dude. So let's pull that up real quick, and I'll play that now.
It changes your life in the best way ever.
Yeah.
And the most beautiful thing is she has a beautiful mom.
You've said she saved your life, kind of?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Her and her mom.
In what way?
4 years ago, I was on a rough path.
What were you wrestling with then?
Everything. It was terrible.
You were already really successful.
Yes, sir.
So what was troubling you?
That's a good question. Just loneliness.
Post says he was spiraling downward.
Getting up, having a good cry,
Yeah.
drinking, and then going, living your life, and then whenever you go lay down, drinking some more and having a good cry. And just like, I gotta wake up tomorrow and do this again.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the most amazing thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry you went through that.
That's all right. I needed to, for myself, to figure out who I am.
At 29, Post
All right. That was kind of a cool thing for me to see him say. You know, when you see somebody like Post Malone who has this image, if you will, of being like kind of a badass, you know, I think the dude hit at 20. He hit really young in life. And he looks crazy, you know, like he seems to have settled in. He had a Dolly Parton fan club hat on. Post seems to be really settling in on. And if you look at him now, like look at this picture over my shoulder here. Let's blow that up. You got it put in there. Post is an interesting guy, dude. Post Malone looks like Post Malone. There he is. Look at that. He's just out there living his best life, really stepping into who he is. You know, I think about this a lot. You can go back to over the shoulder. There he is. Where's he at? Show me that picture again, because this is what I find interesting. It'll be over here in a second. Look at that guy. Post Malone looks like a guy your dad wouldn't want you to hang out with who came over and dressed in all your dad's clothes. You know what I mean? It's like if your dad came home, it was like, oh, boy, who's this rascal here? I don't like, and why is he wearing my cargo shorts? It's just kind of wild. I mean, how can you not love that guy? He's walking around. He's living his best life. He's always kind to everybody. And honestly, man, he rips it hard. He's doing great in country music. Or you've got Jelly Roll. We got Jelly Roll, who just looks like, it just looks like Post Malone's before picture in some kind of cybergenics ad, you know? And I love Jelly. Jelly's a sweet guy. He's down 70. Ever since he came over and started doing country, he's losing weight. He's getting his life together. It's like country music saving these rap guys' lives, you know, is getting into that culture and doing some of these crossover hits, helping these guys find peace. And he's a troubled guy, too. He has a sordid past. We all do. And it's interesting to see that and just kind of see how those guys, you know, are invading country music. And part of me wonders, you know, I talked about this earlier. I'm like, these guys are thriving in the country music scene. And is it because we don't have true outlaws anymore? You know, people will be like, oh, Morgan Wallen's an outlaw. Morgan Wallen can suck my fucking balls, okay? I'll put that out there. Morgan Wallen, suck my balls. You're not an outlaw, okay? You got a great voice. You've had some good hits. You've got some troubled past. But, I mean, Mike Tyson just came out with you at one of your concerts, so I guess you're doing okay considering you dropped an N-bomb a couple years ago. But the craziest thing this dude did was throw a chair off of a private patio at a club in Nashville from a rooftop bar that was limited access. That's not outlaw, dude. I'm talking about Merle Haggard, did time. Johnny Cash, he's doing shows in prison. We're talking about Willie Nelson. He got pulled over, busted by the man, got hit with tax evasion, got everything taken away from him. Johnny Paycheck spent several nights in jail, fueled up on cocaine. David Allan Coe killed a man with a hammer. That's insane. These guys were outlaws, man. These guys were living the life. Waylon Jennings busted with coke, living his life crazy. And I'm not saying these are good things, but I'm saying, like, they were at least country music outlaws. That's for damn sure. And now I feel like country music's like it's a lot of frat guys with two first names, Luke Bryan or you know, Chip Daniel. I don't even know their names, man. It just seems like a bunch of watered down frat guy music, a lot of, you know, a lot of stereotypical, formulaic, like, you know, my tractor's sexy, and I want to have sex with a Bud Light, and I want to drink beer, and I want to hay bale with a girl in a sundress. Like, there's just keywords that get put in, and it seems like some of the, you know, the heart of country music was these tortured lives and living down a heartache and feeling like, you know, you may not make it to see the next day and living through hard times. And I kind of missed that, man. And I kind of feel like these guys are bringing that energy back into that. You know, Beyonce's album, it's a little poppy, but it was still cool. Had a good beat. It had original songs. It didn't just follow the normal format of country music. And I feel like some of these people are bringing, you know, really good energy into the country music world. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's my thoughts. I'm happy that Post Malone is happy. You know, I was at the Comedy Store in May, and was hanging out with in the green room lounge where the comics hang out. And I was having a great time. It was cool. And Post Malone showed up. I saw him in person. He's a little taller than you think in real life. I don't know if anyone cares about that, but he's like my height. I thought he'd be small. He's 6'1"-ish, I'd say, maybe 6'2". You know, he'd come in the green room, and then they'd come in and be like, everybody out. Unless you're a paid regular, it's overcrowded in here. And I'm like, it's not overcrowded in here. Dude, one guy came in, but it's Post Malone, so I get it. So we'd all leave. And then Post would go smoke a cigarette, and they'd let us all back in. And then when Post would come in for smoking a cigarette, they'd kick us back out again. Now, Post wasn't asking us to get kicked out. He was cool as hell. It was just a Comedy Store policy. But even that night, he seemed like a good dude. He seemed like he's in a good place, and I hope that that's true. And congratulations to him on being a pop. Now, speaking of the mix in the worlds of country and hip-hop, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, the best-kept secret on the internet, which is the Haktua girl. I know you guys are probably going to need me to provide all kinds of context since this has barely scratched the surface of the pop culture zeitgeist at this point. But there was a girl who is famous now because she talked about spitting on a penis. And, I mean, it is what it is. That's what happened. Someone interviewed her and said, I don't even remember what the question was, something that you got to do for guys. And she's like, you got to Haktua spit on that thing. And she acted it out as if she were holding an improv penis, as I will call it. And, she dropped a hot lug on it, which the Tua part's great. The hawk part kind of grosses me out. That's like a throat-clearing, phlegm-inducing. Everyone knows the part of the Haktua is, and that's not good. I don't want you spitting a snot rocket anywhere on me. But you know what? Some people don't care. Some people are freaky. And I'm not here to yuck your yum if you're into some sort of phlegm-covered appendage hanging off of your waistline. That's on you. But she's been compared to Dolly Parton. She's the new Dolly Parton because she's so likable. And, man, if I was Dolly Parton, how offended I would be. The queen of country music, a woman who's written hit after hit after hit and came up at a time when, being her own boss at a time when women had to fight and claw for every inch of airtime on country music radio and just in the world in general. If I were her and I tuned in and saw that the person they've chosen to be the new me was a girl who talked about hocking a loogie onto a man's junk, I would be a little bit offended, quite personally. That's me. And now I thought her 15 minutes of fame was up, and I'm sure she's a nice gal. I don't know her. Okay? I'm not trying to demean the Haktua girl. I believe her name is Haley something. I don't totally remember. But she recently did Bill Maher's podcast, okay? And I found this clip very interesting. I think she's going to go viral again. So she's going to get another 15. And honestly, this one I kind of get a little bit. She was on Bill Maher's podcast. She's from the country. She's from Tennessee. He was asking her about hip-hop. She said she listened to old school hip-hop, and then she named a song that she knew from old school hip-hop. And I'm just going to play that clip for you now, okay? And then we'll talk about it. Here we go. You ready, Zane? Let's see if I can.
Old to you, old rap. To me, it's
Let's
like
see.
Jay-Z and Tupac. No? You've heard of Jay-Z.
Yeah, and Tupac. I've heard of both of them. I just
Oh.
don't listen to them like that.
Yeah.
Besides that one song Jay-Z's in. It's like, concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. About New York.
Well, got to be honest with you guys. I can't unhear that now. It does sound like concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. Now, I'm not saying that was the words. It might have been. But that was her. That was country music and rap colliding in a much different way. And like I said, I like this girl. She's getting to do all kinds of cool shit. She's got a management team. I had a friend that met her recently, and they said she's got a management team around her They're getting her paid on this 15 minutes of spitting on a ding-dong fame. And good for her. That would be interesting to me if I were Jay-Z. So now we've got Dolly Parton being compared to her. She thinks Jay-Z wrote a song in which he talked about New York. And he said, Concrete Jungle, Wet Dream Tomato, which in her mind made sense, you know. It's not beers and tractors. I mean, wet dreams and tomatoes could go together, right? I don't know what you're having your dream about. Tomatoes have a soft, gooey center. If you're Haktuaing on stuff, who knows? Who knows what you're doing with tomatoes? I'm not here to judge you. You know what? They're technically a fruit. Have fun with it, I say. That was just an interesting thing that I wanted to share with you guys, that, you know, we got a lot of rap and country colliding. And for me, I always thought, and I'll wrap up this segment on this, to me it was always, I felt like those things were interchangeable. When I grew up, I listened to old country and I listened to 90s hip-hop. I listened to Jay-Z. I listened to Tupac. I listened to UGK. I listened to Dr. Dre. I listened to Eminem. I listened to, Run DMC. I listened to the Fat Boys. I remember having a Fat Boys cassette tape. I listened to all sorts of late 80s, early 90s hip-hop. And I think there's something that those two cultures kind of mirror each other in a way, which is cool. A lot of it, it's different. It's different, but a lot of it is about overcoming socioeconomic problems and backgrounds. You know, poor country kids, poor inner city kids, they're both trying to sing or rap their way out of a bad situation. They go about it different ways. A lot of the rap was about acquiring things and getting things, whereas country music is about losing things. You lose your girl, you lose your job, you lose your truck. And, someone else has made that observation before. And then somehow it turned into songs about being on the beach and water skiing and what was that? Did you hear that? Little beep there. We're going to cut that out in post, guaranteed. This whole segment. That whole little part right there, this won't be here. This is just for all you live listeners to hear my beeping computer. But I do think it's interesting. I think rap and country, I didn't relate to this is going to piss a lot of people off because I'm on the point. And I love rock. I love rock and roll. I love a lot of old rock and roll and stuff like that when it was like in your face and fuck you and we're going to Queen and AC/DC and all this stuff. And then the 90s came around and there was this. To me, emo just never spoke to me. I didn't hate it. It just felt like a bunch of wealthy kids in the suburbs complaining about stuff that I couldn't relate to. I didn't grow up there. I grew up in near a trailer park. So I related more to country music. I related more to rap. I mean, I'm not saying a lot of emo sounded to me like a bunch of, rich white kids with D1 scholarships and lacrosse complaining about wanting to fuck their skateboard. You know what I mean? That's just what it felt like to me. It's just like, oh my God, I got a saltwater pool and I didn't get to go swimming today because the pool guy forgot to come. And I'm like, okay, well, that's one struggle, I suppose, I'm so sad. I went to the mall and I only had money for 3 pairs of new shoes. Okay, well, that is a problem, I guess. I've been wearing the same shoes since sophomore year, but yeah, please let me relate to you in that way. And look, I know everybody loves this music. I'm not shitting on you if you like the music. I'm just saying it didn't relate to me personally. So I think there's a reflection of country and rap. And so I'm not surprised that these two worlds are now blending together because I think country music, as far as radio country goes, there are some outlaws out there. I listen to them all the time. There's the Charlie Crockett's. There's the Coulter Walls. There's the Red Clay Strays. There's some really good country music being made. It's just not getting played on the radio. So what you're seeing on the radio is this invasion from another genre coming in to fill that void. So keep playing. Congrats to Post Malone. Congrats to Jelly Roll. You lovable, you big snuffleupagus. I love you. You guys are crushing it. You look like the same guy from different multiverses, and I appreciate the hell out of you. And country music radio, start playing some better country music artists that are actual outlaws. All right. We're going to wrap that segment up. If you want to give me a call, it's 818-532-1420. We're going to come back with a segment I like to call Tank Talks right after a word from our sponsor, cocaine. Are you sad? Do you feel like you don't have the get up and go you once had? Well, try our new product from Colombia. It's called Cocaína. That's right. Some side effects from Cocaína may be explosive diarrhea, talking to someone about a movie script you should totally write together, rearranging your sock drawer until 7 o'clock in the morning, and also losing your job. Cocaína from Pfizer. And we're back after a word from, again, that is not a Hubbard sponsor. I don't know how they even got on to this podcast. We gotta look at our signal, Zane, after this and figure out how this guy on a ham radio keeps breaking in, telling people to do cocaine. That's not nice. If you want to give me a call, the number is 818-532-1420. That's 818-532-1420. And this is a segment I like to call Tank Talks. Dial me up. Tank talking again. Yeah, haven't done a VO for that yet, so who knows? That might be the permanent one. But give me a call if you got something cool to talk about, 818-532-1420. And if not, I got some messages to play. And maybe I'll go through some of these comments. If you got something cool, put it in the comments of the live chat, or put it in the comments if you're not watching this live and you're watching the 4 o'clock release. Hey, put it in the comments. I will screenshot these and use these on the show as well. So don't be afraid to reach out and talk to a brother. But right now, let's get into some messages from the Doo-Doo Papa Squad hotline. Feel free to call me. In the meantime, we'll put you in the queue, and we'll all chat eventually. Do I have a caller already? You know what? Let's take a caller first, because I got lots of stuff in the queue. All right, we're going to do a caller. Let's see what you got. If you bore me, I will hang up on you. No offense. Welcome to Tank Talks. You're talking to Rafe Talks. Wet Dream Tomato. What can I do for you?
Hey, man, my name is Nick. I'm a huge fan of you and the guys.
Hey, Nick.
Huge country music fan.
Yeah.
In addition, I've seen Tyler Childers. I got tickets to Sturgill. I got tickets to Jamie Johnson coming up.
Hell yeah, you just named 3 bangers.
It's funny that you... Oh, yeah. And it's funny you played that post clip, who I'm a fan of, talking about family and whatnot. My initial reason for calling in today is I know you, obviously, young grandpa, had a son very young.
Very young, yeah.
My son's about to be 3 months old, and I was just wondering what sort of kind of things, what was your reaction to starting a family? What's your relationship like today? Some things you killed it on, some things that could have gone better. And given your upbringing and your relationship with your brothers and parents, what are just some sort of insights and general advice you might have in all that regard?
All right, say that one more time, because I really want to touch on all those.
Just
like lessons I learned from being
looking for any sort of
parental advice.
Yeah, just general advice, some general lessons, things that went well, things that didn't, or whatever.
Okay, how old are you, man?
30.
30. Well, you're off to a good start, because I think being a young dad was tough. And then my son was a young dad, and it's tough. And we've had periods in our life where we've had a really strained relationship. I think what I would say is the thing that I like about grandparenthood versus parenthood is, and being young, I'm still young enough that I'm not like some old folk sitting on a couch, with silver hair, forgetting my name and shitting my pants every half hour. Not that all grandparents do that. I had a good grandfather. I think you get the 20,000-foot view a little better. There's so much pressure on parenthood, man, to get it right? Because you feel like you're responsible for this little miniature human. You're trying to grow into a full-fledged functioning, independent human. And sometimes we've all seen it play out time and time again. Everybody went to school. Like, I think sometimes our kids become an appendage or an extension of us, where you try to play out perhaps something you didn't do, some failure you didn't, something you didn't pursue. We try to force our interests, or we try to force our personalities onto our children. And the truth is you should just nurture who they are. You should identify who they are and nurture it. Not that you can't have influence. I mean, if you like tossing a football around, toss a football around with the kid. But if they don't show the level of interest you have in something, you got to be willing to let them explore and figure out who they are as a person. And I think a lot of times, we try to, force ourselves onto our kids so much that it ends up not feeling like love. It ends up feeling like something else to them. And when you're a grandparent, the thing I've noticed from, having the 20,000 foot view is like, hey man, they're going to be okay. Relax, enjoy them, enjoy the ride, because it happens really fast. They grow up quick. Forgive. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to have interests that aren't your interests. They're going to do stuff that you think is weird. They're going to do things that you're going to be so scared on behalf of this little human who's trying to figure out how to live in this video game of a world they've been born into, that you're not going to just understand that, like, hey, they're going to be okay. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to fall down and skin their knees. All these things are going to happen. Do your best to protect them from the big dangers in life, but also let them make some mistakes and just love them and understand, like, they're going to be their own person, and just choose to show them love from a wide angle view, as opposed to being so in it and being so on top of them that you're smothering them with what you think is love, when really to them it just feels like something else, like not hate, but it doesn't feel like love. It feels like being smothered. That's why I think so many kids feel like their parents are smothering them, is because we are. We're trying to don't put your broken dreams on their back. Just let them figure out their own dreams and support them in any way you can. Support them the way you wish you would have been supported for your dreams. Don't try to supplement your dreams onto them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely feel that.
Yeah, and I will say that, and the other thing, I don't know is this your first kid, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy it, man. You're only going to have your first kid one time. You know what I mean? And also forgive yourself a little bit. That's something that you've been a father the same amount of time they've been a kid. So if they're 3 months old, you've only been on the job for 3 months, man. You're going to make mistakes too. And it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. And I think that's a lot of times that's what kids do with parents, is because you are this father figure, or you're this parental figure, they're like, you're supposed to have all the answers and you're supposed to know. And it's okay not to know, and it's okay to let your kids know that you don't know. Let kids see you fail. That's the other thing. Is a lot of times I think we try to hide our failures from our kids. We try to hide the times we didn't get it right. We try to hide the times that our tempers got the better of us, or things didn't go well. We didn't get the promotion at work, or you tried to start a business and failed. We don't want our kids to see us like that, but that is the most healthy thing you can do for a kid, is let them see you struggle, because then they understand that the struggle is a universal thing that we all go through, and you don't set an expectation of perfection that they feel like they can never reach. And give yourself forgiveness for those things, man. Like when the kid's 5, you're still only going to be 5 years on the job. And it takes time to figure those things out. So, give yourself a little space. And the last thing I'll say about it, as far as what it relates to me personally, here's something that I struggled with that is a pitfall that I would warn any new dad about. The window of parenting to get it right is so small. It really is small. You get too much. If you're too much of a disciplinarian, the kid will rebel. If you err too much the other way and you try to be a buddy dad, they don't respect you. You're not setting healthy boundaries. The window is so small. Don't stress out about that. I grew up in a very disciplinarian, an abusive household in some ways. My dad was very hands-on, for good or bad. At times, if you punish a kid, if you whip a kid's ass because they burned the neighbor's house down or they forgot to wash a fork, and the punishment is the same, it loses its value. There's no lesson to be learned. There's nothing to be gleaned from that other than it teaches the kid to try to avoid being punished. Right? And then, so growing up in a house like that, when I became a dad, you usually get two kinds of kids. You get a kid who either emulates that and wants to be the same, or you get a kid who wants to be the opposite. So when I became a dad, I wanted to be the opposite. And I think I erred too far the other way, and that's a hard thing to admit. I tried too hard to be hands-off and be a buddy dad. And what happens is your kid doesn't see you as a dad, he sees you as a buddy. And you shirk some responsibilities of fatherhood. I had moments where I was not a good dad. I was young, and I was going out and partying, and like I'd still get my son on the weekends and stuff like that, and I'd try to be his pal. And there were times that I think he craved boundaries and discipline from me, and I didn't offer them when I should have. So you got to break this. I don't know what, you may have had great parents, which is great, then just be a great parent. But if you didn't have great parents, break the cycle, but don't try so hard to break the cycle that you just fuck them up a different way. You know what I mean? Because I think my son would probably tell you that he wishes that I would have been more hands-on. And that's hard. That's hard to admit as a dad. And my son and I have had good conversations. He's an adult now, and we've had good conversations about it. But that would be my 3 big pieces of advice, and I hope that they were helpful, man.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I knew you were the person to call, so I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Brother. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. It's wild, but
yeah, it's only going to get wilder. They don't tell you about that first poop either, do you? The black one. That's the thing they don't like to talk about.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, when they come home from the hospital and they shit oil, and you're like, oh, my baby's broken. I have to take this back. I think it still needs to cook. They should tell more dads about that. Those first couple poops are something from a science fiction movie. And see, I'm willing to talk about it.
Yeah, luckily it didn't last too long.
Nah. If it does, take him to the hospital. All right, man. Good talking to you. I'm dropping the call. See ya. And we're out. Terminated. All right. That was a good call. That was nice advice. Now let's get into, for the rest of the segment, let's get into the hotline bling, baby. I can hear that hotline bling. I think I hear you shitting. Let's pull up some of the hotline messages we had. We had some serious, some just really good would you rathers. Let's get into the first one, shall we, Zayd? This one is simply a would you rather. Nipples, penis. Let's see what this says.
Hey, Rafe. Just got a good would you rather for you. Would you rather have penis-sized nipples or a nipple-sized penis? Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. One, love the brevity. Would I rather have a nipple-sized penis or 2 penis-sized nipples? Now, this is a quandary for the ages. Neither of these sound great. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a tough one, man. But I would have to say, given my druthers, I'm going to go with 2 penis-sized nipples. And the reason if I have to make a choice, and the reason I would choose that is you can't do nothing about a nipple-sized penis. That is not good. I mean, it's not bad if you have, listen, if you're out there and you're suffering, not even suffering, just experiencing a nipple-sized penis, we're all made in the Lord's image, okay? And if you got a little nipple peen, I hope that it's a long nipple penis. I hope that it's at least the best of that world that you can get. I hope it's not a little number 2 eraser pencil eraser nub that you got down there. I wouldn't want that. So you can't do anything about that, right? Now, let's assume I've got 2 chesticles, 2 giant penises hanging off of my chest where my nipple should be. That also is going to make going to the pool less fun for everyone. I don't like taking my shirt off at the pool as is, and I got regular nipples. So if I had 2 giant schlongs hanging from my pectoral muscles, that would be bad. Now, the thing about it is I would have the reverse hope for you if you have chest dicks. I would hope that you had, that you were a grower, not a shower. That way you got 2 little nubs, 2 little nub penises that are a little harder, easier to tape down during the day to go about your day, and then maybe you could wear we could make some kind of makeshift little Speedo top for men that holds your little dick, your 2 little dick packages in when you're at the beach, or all 3. You got maybe it's that Borat thing that just hides these 2 dicks and then your actual dick down here. And also you'd have 3 penises. Think about that. Are they functional? I don't know. Now I got a penis. Ladies might like that, man. Think about, you be the guy that shows up at the orgy with 3 throbbing dongs, right? You got your regular dong where it's supposed to be, and they're like, ooh la la, look at that. I like this guy's schwanz. It's looking good. That's how the ladies talk in this orgy. I don't know where they're from. And then you take your shirt off, dude, to reveal, guess what? Got a couple warm-up dongs right here. I mean, whatever you like, ladies or men. You get 3 people. You just lay down, and 3 people can ride you at a time. You got 3 people bouncing. You got 2 bouncing on your chest, and you're just giving it. Oh, hello. Look at that. Pow, 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 pow. You like that? You're banging 3 people at one time. You're making people 3 times more happy with your chest penises. Who are you making happy with your little nipple penis? Probably nobody. Even yourself. So to me, this is a no-brainer. You got to go with nipple dicks and make the best of it. I'm sure you could probably get into pornography way easier, make money with those, and OnlyFans. It just seems like all the benefits lie in the trifecta of having 2 penises where your nipples should be. And if you don't like them, I feel like it's easier to cut those off than it is to add to the tiny nipple penis between your legs. So there you go. I think we can all agree that I spent too much time on this. But I like to honor the people that call in and leave messages. So there you go. I'm going pectoral schlongs all the way. Take it to the bank. All right, next one. This one is simply labeled bathroom tornado. Let's give it a play.
Hey, shithead. Got a story.
Hell yeah.
When Hurricane Beryl made landfall, I live in West Kentucky and drive to Louisville every night. And the night of the tropical depression come across our yard, and we had a tornado warning. Well, I was dropping a big old deuce in the men's shitter. Well, guess what? The men's shitter is a tornado shelter.
Oh, no.
I had about 20 people come in there when me pants was around me ankles. Anyway, I said, seats taken. And I was wondering what you would do in this situation.
Okay.
Good day. Hey, it's me again, Jacob.
Oh, he called back.
Tell you the shitter stall story. So after I said all that, I contemplated if I should just stay in the stall or come out and wash my hands and stand there in silence. So I stood up, filed my paperwork, walked out, awkwardly washed my hands, and we stood there for 20 minutes in a 3-stall, 2-urinal bathroom. Mind you, men and women were in this bathroom for tornado shelter.
Okay. Man, first of all, love that guy's accent. Wow. I was in there, Hurricane Burrow come through. Next thing I know, old Dale's in there. I'm in there making a brown snake, pinching it off. And next thing you know, all my coworkers, including Charlene, have piled into the restroom. And I'm there dropping trowel, caught my pants between my ankles, right in the middle of wrestling out a nasty growler. What would you do? I'll tell you what I'd do, man. I feel like this guy's getting away with it because he's such a lovable character. That's a tough one, man. That's hilarious, first of all, that you were taking a shit and then everyone has to pile into the restroom that you're in as a tornado shelter. And then for 20 minutes, they got to stand in the stank fog of your shit. Like, that's the funniest part to me is the aftermath. Like, not only did you get caught taking a dump, you don't get to leave. You gotta stand there, or you have to wait them out and just stay on the toilet for 20 minutes and hope the storm passes and that they don't recognize your shoes. But it wasn't like they were. I feel like you gotta just finish and come out of the stall. And the reason I would say that is, like, at some point they're doing a head count of everybody that works there, and I didn't catch this feller's name. Did you? Yeah, me neither. Let's just say he sounded like a Dale to me. They're eventually going to do a head count and say, anybody seen Dale? They're going to be like, oh, well, I do see his snakeskin cowboy boots underneath the stall. And I just feel like there was no way around them. The best thing you could do in that situation is own it, get up, make a joke about it, go wash your hands, stand in the back, and let everyone. I mean, really, you won. What a dominant place to be. I mean, if you're in a room 3 stalls wide, 2 urinals wide, and everyone in your company is in there just inhaling your man musk, your taint perfume, if you will, you've already asserted dominance over. I honestly think you may be CEO of that company now. After the 20-minute break, they are just like, we'd like to make an announcement. Dale's been promoted. He is now the owner and CEO of this company. I'm really curious what kind of company it was, man. I wish I could talk to this guy. If you're out there and you're listening, Jake, someone said his name was Jake. Jake, I was close. Yeah, Jake is a stone's throw from a Dale. Let's be honest. It is. Jake, if you're out there listening, I hope it was Jake from State Farm. That's even funnier. Jake from Snake Farm? Yeah, this is Jake from Snake Farm. Did you say State Farm? No, I said Snake Farm. It's down here in Kentucky. We raise snakes, rattlers, boa constrictors, Gardner, anything you need. You're in good hands with Jake from Snake Farm. Well, congratulations, Jake. You own that company now. You are officially the CEO of Snake Farm. Thank you for calling in. What a great story. How are we doing on time? I feel like I've been doing this for a while. Maybe we'll wrap there. Do we have any more calls? I haven't looked. I think we're going to wrap there for this week. And that completes a segment I like to call Tank Talks. Now, let's have a quick break from a word from our sponsor and come back and wrap this shit up. Cocaine. Just do it. Cocaine. All right. Well, the message is getting a little more clear cut as we go into commercial breaks, and I don't like it. I want to say that first and foremost. But here's what I will tell you. What a great show we had today. Man, I am so pumped about the hotline. The Papa Squad hotline has really taken off. We didn't even tip of the iceberg. The 2 calls we took today. I got to talk to Riz about his vacation, what sport he would like in the Olympics, what his in-house policy was about looking at other hot people with his wife. We got into a lot of really good stuff. We talked about Post Malone and Jelly Roll and country music and the invasion of rap into country and why we need more outlaw country on the American radio waves. And then, of course, had a great call about being a new father and got into some of the Tank Talk messages, which I love. Congratulations to Jake as the new CEO of Snake Farm. And what was the other one we listened to? It was great. Oh, yeah, we solved a very important question about having dicks for nipples. All that on the number 2 show. Look, if you had fun, I had a great time. If you like listening to this crazy podcast, be sure to like and subscribe. I know it's cliche, but I need you to like and subscribe and share it with people. Let people know it's a fun thing to watch. If you're watching live on the YouTube stream, thank you for watching in the live chat and participating. I will go through the live chat after the show. I'll save any questions you guys might have had for future episodes. And if you aren't watching, we're going to do 4 o'clock premieres every time. We take the episode down, we clean it up a little bit, we put in the ad markers for sponsors, and it goes back up at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays on the Points YouTube. So make sure if you can't tune in live that you're getting on there at 4 o'clock and checking out a new episode. And most importantly, you can listen on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts. And one helpful thing you can do is go and leave a positive review. If you don't like it, what the fuck are you still watching it for? You shouldn't have gotten this deep into the episode. So if you're here, I'm assuming you were having a good time. So go on to Spotify, go on to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, leave a message about why you enjoy the show, and that'll maybe get it out there for other people to discover the show, which will help me grow and help me keep doing it and help me make the show better and better as we go. I appreciate you guys. Always wipe front to back, not back to front, and never shit standing up. That's my advice to you. Congratulations on another Number Tuesday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Rafe Williams. Bye-bye.